This is OneWrestling.com, 24/7 wrestling news.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. I am the Mark of the Masters, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA Today Impact 6/6/2013. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Impact directly after SLAMMIVERSAY, one of the best. Again, this is my opinion. I would like to know what you guys think, but I think it's one of the best pay-per-views, wrestling pay-per-views in a long, long time. Excellent, excellent pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, Impact Wrestling made a lot of news this week, but one of the biggest signings in TNA history, and I honestly want to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment here below at OneWrestling.com or YouTube/OneWrestlingVideo. I want to know what you think about quitting Rampage Jackson. Now, I'm going to give my opinion a little later on down the line here in this video. We're going to quickly jump into the show, and then I'll give my opinion on quitting Rampage Jackson. Again, I want to know what you guys think, ladies and gentlemen. This is all opinion-based, OneWrestling.com. Anyway, let's move into the show. We have Bully Ray. Bully Ray comes into the ring. He's getting a lot of heat from the fans. He basically introduces himself as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Do you know who I am? We know who he is. He's Bully Ray. He is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He is the leader of the Aces and Eights. Now, he talks about how he basically single-handedly defeated Sting. Now, we all know that's not true. We all know it took almost the entire Aces and Eights crew to defeat Sting. But he demands that Dixie Carter come to the ring and induct him into the Hall of Fame. Now, that's going to be a ways down the line, and I'm looking to see guys like Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles, and there's a plethora of other superstars that are going to get away before him. But again, that's my opinion. But he demands that Dixie Carter come down to the ring, but Dixie Carter doesn't. Who does come down to the ring is Hulk Hogan. Now, Hulk Hogan comes into the ring, and he basically he puts over the BFG series and of course Bound for Glory. This is actually, I really enjoy Bound for Glory. I couldn't get into the whole point system in the beginning of the BFG series, but as I got into the series, as I began to understand the rules, so on and so forth, I actually kind of enjoy it, and actually it leads up to there's usually a good payoff to the Bound for Glory series, so I'm really looking forward to this. But Bully Ray basically tells Hulk Hogan that there's no competition in TNA wrestling, and Hulk Hogan basically says, there's no competition. Well, listen, brother, you're gonna fight Jeff Hardy, dude. Jeff Hardy comes down to the ring, and Jeff Hardy really, really over. The fans going really crazy over Jeff Hardy. Hulk Hogan telling Bully Ray that he will face Jeff Hardy in a ladder match. Not only just a ladder match, but at the top of the ladder, it's not for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. It's a non-title match. But at the very top of the ladder will be a hammer. Whoever gets the hammer first gets to use it. Well, we're going to get into that later on. We're going to quickly jump backstage. Backstage, we have Chavo Hernandez. And Chavo basically says, look, every man for himself. Hernandez goes to extend the hand to Chavo. Chavo backs off. They jump into the match. It was actually a pretty decent match. We have Chavo. He basically tries to go for a frog splash. Ends up hitting the frog splash, but ends up getting a stomach full of knees. Hernandez able to pull up both knees and really, really damaging the midsection of Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero was then put up in the border toss. Chavo is able to front row out of it. But anyway, long story short, Hernandez actually is able to power roll and hold Chavo down, much like Kurt Angle did in SLAMMIVERSAY to AJ Styles. He power rolled and held Chavo down for the 1-2-3. So Hernandez qualifies. These are the qualifying matches for the Bound for Glory series. Really cool. We have Devon. Devon's in the ring, and Devon calls out Abyss. But he doesn't get Abyss. He gets Joseph Park. And Joseph Park comes down, and Joseph Park says, you know what? I'm tired of being bullied. And he actually takes down Devon with a double-A takedown. And he starts hitting him with a shoulder block and hitting him with another shoulder block. And he's beating the living daylights out of Devon. But then Devon gets the upper hand, and Devon starts basically beating the living crap out of Joseph Park. Now, he goes out of the ring, and he grabs a chair. He's about to hit Joseph Park and finish him off. when Abyss's music actually comes on, Devon jumps back into the ring, and he's totally distracted by this whole situation. He doesn't want anything to do with Joseph Park. He wants Abyss. So he basically says, you know what? If you don't come out, I'm going to come back there and find you. He leaves. But as he leaves, Joseph Park sees that he's bleeding. And he has that look on his face. Much like his brother Abyss. Anyway, we're gonna move on, because we have Robbie E, and Robbie E's in the ring, and Robbie E basically cuts a promo, bro, and he basically says how he won 5 points last year, and he should have been the MVP of last year's 2012's BFG series, because he got 5 points over Jeff Hardy. Anyway, he basically gets his ass handed to him by Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe hitting the Muscle Buster and then making him tap out to the rear naked choke. So Samoa Joe moves on and into the BFG series. Backstage, we have Mickie James now. Mickie James now basically is full-blown heel, and again, I love Mickie James heel. To be honest with you guys, I love Mickie James. She's really hot, but again, that's my opinion. I would like to know what you guys think. But yeah, Mickie James is backstage, and she's with Velvet Sky. Velvet Sky says, "Look, I got my gear on. You got your gear on. You know, let's get it on." And nope. Mickie James pulling the old heel thing, says, "You know what? Not yet. I spoke to Brooke Hogan, and there's somebody who you've been overlooking." We go to the ring, and we have JB, and JB introduces Quentin Rampage Jackson. Quentin Rampage Jackson comes into the ring. He's wearing the big heavy chain around his neck, and he basically has that snarl in his face, and he just has a great look. He gets on the mic, and you know, pretty good for a first time. And you know, I mean, look, the guy's been in movies, you know what I'm saying? Not just the A-Team, he's done a couple of other movies. But Quentin Rampage Jackson is interrupted by Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle basically says, and I'll make a long story short, you want to face the best, because basically Rampage Jackson says, I want to beat the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Woo! Anyway, that's a Ric Flair. That's a Ric Flair quote, but he definitely wants to beat the best. And Kurt Angle comes out, and Kurt Angle says, "Listen, son, this is my world. This is my world. All right, this is my ring. Okay, you're wrestling. You're not in MMA no more. So if you want to beat the best, you're gonna have to go through me." And they give a good stare down, and they do shake hands out of respect, but then they kind of get in each other's face again. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see the Olympic hero go against Quentin Rampage Jackson. Now, my opinion, I really feel that the signing of Quentin Rampage Jackson is a really good thing for TNA Wrestling. Why? Well, not just because I'm a TNA mark, I'm a WWE mark, I'm just a wrestling mark. I honestly think that Quentin Rampage Jackson, number one, brings legitimacy, much like Brock Lesnar is bringing legitimacy to the WWE. This guy's a legitimate ass kicker. He's the real deal. He's eventually going to be great on the mic. He has a good look. This guy's an athlete. You know, I could see his finish being a power bomb, because the guy, that's his finish. I mean, the guy has taken out so many people in the cage with power bombs. I mean, this guy is so legit, and I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do. Now, we haven't seen too much of King Mo, and my only thing is this, and I want you guys to really listen to what I'm saying to you here. He signed kind of the same deal that King Mo has, where he's actually also fighting for Bellator, and King Mo actually lost during a tournament for a title in Bellator, which for me kind of brought his stock down in TNA Wrestling a little bit. I think if you just went in to wrestle, would have been better. Now, my opinion, I know we go into MMA, but really quickly, Quentin Rampage Jackson is not the same old pride-fighting Quentin Rampage Jackson, not the early UFC Rampage Jackson. This is a little more diminished Rampage Jackson. He's getting a little older. I honestly feel if he has 1 or 2 fights, I'm hoping he wins both fights. But if he doesn't, it may kind of bring down his stock a little bit. I would like to see Rampage Jackson as a full-time professional wrestler. I think he'd do fantastic. But again, that's my opinion. This is where you guys come in, ladies and gentlemen. I want you, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about Quentin Rampage Jackson in TNA Wrestling, whether you guys agree with it, whether you think it's just a publicity stunt, or you think this guy can be something big with TNA. Let's quickly move on. We go backstage and we have Bully Ray, and really quickly, Bully Ray is wondering why there's nobody from the Aces and Eights in the BFG series, and he's talking to Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Anderson, you know, they start talking, and Mr. Anderson says, hey, you want me to take care of some business, so on and so forth, and Bully Ray makes an interesting comment, and I actually said this in my last video, and I think the video before. He says, well, you know, Vice President basically makes, you know, these type of decisions. Anyway, Mr. Anderson says, well, I'm the Vice President. Eventually, Mr. Anderson is going to be the Vice President. Now, my question to you is, will Mr. Anderson be satisfied with just being the Vice President, or will he want to take Bully's seat? I would like to know what you guys think. All right, let's quickly move on. We have a six-man tag team match between Cowboy James Storm Gunner and Chris Sabin. We have the new tag team champions, champions, excuse me, versus Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, and Kenny King. Really good match, actually. What I'm telling you, TNA puts some really good matches together. I really enjoyed this match. Chris Sabin, towards the end of the match, hits a sick, and Kenny King did a fantastic selling job. Did a sick springboard, spinning spike DDT off the second rope. Fantastic job. And you know, Kenny King stands up, and he actually ends up stumbling into the All Hail Sabin, which is an awesome finishing move. And Chris Sabin gets the 1, 2, 3. So Chris Sabin, Cowboy, James Storm, and Gunner go over. Now let's jump into Mickie James. Now Mickie James is facing Tyler Hendricks. I don't know why you know, she thinks she deserves a freaking Knockouts title match. But anyway, Mickie James, and by the way, Tyler Hendricks actually won the Gut Check tournament, or was not the Gut Check tournament, but she was voted in to have a contract with TNA. So she's a legitimate star training in Ohio Valley Wrestling, and you know, the kid was okay. The finisher though, and again, I do not like criticizing, but this match was what it was. Mickie James hits a sloppy spinning back kick, which landed like on the shoulder of Tyler Hendricks. I don't know how she got knocked out by that, but she gets knocked out for the 1, 2, 3, and obviously this is just setting up for something down the line. She's going to keep on ducking Velvet Sky until obviously maybe the next pay-per-view or a couple of weeks from now, she's going to have to defend the title versus this young lady. So we're going to move on, and we go backstage and we see Devon, and he's backstage with Knox, and they're looking for Abyss. Well, in the shadows, you see it's like really creepy. You see Abyss's shadows sneaking in behind him, and Abyss takes out Knox. Abyss takes out Devon. After Devon put up a good fight, and Abyss, and I quote, says, after taking Devon out and basically beating the living hell out of him, throwing him into a brick wall, saying, I am taking this belt into the Abyss. What the hell does that mean? I have no idea. You guys let me know what you think. But Sting now, we're moving on, and Sting said a really interesting tweet, and I want you guys to go to check my predictions and to check the me and Andre Corbeil, actually, Andre Corbeil. By the way, Andre Corbeil is a fantastic TNA blogger. If you don't know who this is, check my last video out with the Slammiversary recap. This guy is fantastic. He's a passionate wrestling fan, like he says about me, and I just love listening to this guy. So guys, if you can check me out, check out my buddy Andre Corbeil. He's all the way up. He's my my Can-Am brother from Canada. But anyway, we're gonna quickly move on, and we actually spoke about this fact, and I asked Andre, I said, do you think Sting is happy that he basically fought alone? He was jumped and nobody came in to save him, because I made that opinion. I brought forth that opinion, and Sting tweeted this. Sting said, I was left to fight alone. Message received. Next week we're going to hear from Sting. I have a feeling Sting is not very happy with the TNA roster and Hulk Hogan. We're going to quickly move on, and the fans were really hot for this main event. It was a really good main event. A lot. Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray put together a really good match. Towards the end of the match, we have we have Bully Ray, and he actually got the hammer first, and he's about to nail Jeff Hardy with the hammer, but Jeff Hardy's able to hit Bully Ray with a twist of fate, having the hammer go up in the air, and Jeff Hardy's able to take the hammer. Now Jeff Hardy actually swings and misses like 3 or 4 times. Now here's something I kind of noticed. Bully Ray actually ran out of the ring. Now I don't know if this is kayfabe, I don't know if this is actually legit, but when Jeff Hardy was chasing Bully Ray to the backstage, something kind of gave out. I don't know if it was his lower back or maybe his hamstring. I don't know what it was, but it looked like Jeff Hardy was legit hurt. He actually called for the referee to help him backstage. But Bully Ray backstage was screaming and yelling for his title belt. Where's my belt? Where's my belt? And little does he know, Hulk Hogan is creeping out of the shadows, brother. And Hulk Hogan with the hammer is about to take this guy out. When all of a sudden Brooke Hogan jumps out. Daddy, no! Brooke Hogan saving Bully Ray. You guys know what I feel about Brooke Hogan. I think Brooke Hogan is still very much in love with Bully Ray. I honestly feel that she's been in love the whole time. She pulling a fast one over on her dad. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to find out next week or in the next couple of weeks. I say this every single week. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, you can catch us here every single week at OneWrestling.com. Follow us here at YouTube /OneWrestling Video. Follow us on Twitter at OneWrestling. Follow me on Twitter at Big Ray's Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure talking to you about TNA Wrestling. I love doing this for you every single week. Don't forget, check out my buddy Andre Corbeil. Check out my mentor, basically, Bill Apter. He's fantastic. Check out Lady B from the NYC. She's also awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an opinion-based show. I want to hear from you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you next week for TNA Impact. I wonder what Sting's going to say. It's going to be interesting. Peace.